Let's be real for a second. Let's talk about that feeling that keeps you awake at 3 a.m. You know the one. It's that hollow gut punch sensation when you realize you've been pouring your absolute best energy into a black hole. Think about the time you spent. Think about the mental real estate you gave her. You analyzed her texts like you were trying to crack the Enigma code. You adjusted your schedule just in case she decided to free up an hour for you. You were always available, always steady, always the good guy waiting in the wings. You were orbiting her world, grateful for whatever crumbs of attention she decided to throw your way. And what did it get you? It got you seen as safe. It got you seen as predictable. It got you placed in the background of her life while she chased the guys who couldn't care less about her. You were the emotional safety net she didn't even respect. That pain you felt, that feeling of being invisible despite giving everything, that was your wake-up call. Because there comes a moment, a snap point, where a man just runs out of fuel. It's not anger. It's not some game you're playing to manipulate her. It's exhaustion. It's the moment your self-respect finally overrides your desperate need for her validation. You stop checking your phone. You stop crafting the perfect reply. You stop caring if she sees your story. You genuinely, deeply, from the bottom of your soul, withdraw your energy. And brothers, nobody tells you what happens next. Nobody prepares you for the absolute psychological grenade that goes off in her mind when the man who was always there suddenly isn't. This isn't about getting even. This is about understanding the brutal reality of female nature when the power dynamic flips upside down. When you stop chasing, you don't just free yourself, you shatter the reality she took for granted. Before we dissect the stages of her collapse, look at where you are right now. You're watching this because you're tired of being the option. You're tired of the games. You want the truth about attraction, power dynamics, and rebuilding your own value. If that hits home, you need to lock in with this community right now. Subscribe to the channel. This isn't just about getting girls. This is about deprogramming the lies society told you about how to be a man in the modern dating landscape. We are building a tribe of men who refuse to be second best in their own lives. Hit subscribe, turn on the notifications. You don't want to miss the blueprints we drop here. Now let's open up the psychology of her reaction when your attention goes to zero. When you first pull back, don't expect a parade. Don't expect her to immediately blowing up your phone crying. That's Hollywood stuff. Real life is subtler and way more manipulative. Her first reaction is going to be a calculated performance of absolute indifference. She is going to act unbothered on an Olympic level. Why? Because her ego cannot handle the reality that you, the guy who was a sure thing, are stepping away. It's a direct hit to her perceived market value. So her defense mechanism kicks in. She has to prove to herself and to her audience, social media, that she is the prize and you are irrelevant. You'll see her posting frequency go up. She'll be out with friends you've never seen before, looking like she's having the time of her life. Her stories will be curated to show maximum happiness and independence. If you happen to text her, the replies will be delayed, dry, maybe just a reaction emoji. She wants you to see this and think, damn, she didn't even notice I was gone. But here is the truth that she is hiding even from herself. Internally, she is beginning to spiral. The female mind is designed to track social and emotional dynamics constantly. She noticed your energy shift the second it happened. She noticed the text didn't come in the morning. She noticed you didn't watch her story within the first 5 minutes. She noticed the tone in your voice went flat. While her outer shell is screaming, I don't care, her inner monologue is firing off questions faster than she can process them. Did I do something? Is he talking to someone else? Is she prettier than me? Did he finally see through me? Why isn't my usual charm working anymore? You have to understand, for months, maybe years, her confidence was partially built on the foundation of your unearned validation. You were her emotional ATM. Every like, every compliment, every quick reply was a deposit into her ego account. When you withdraw your interest, you cut off the supply line. She's acting unbothered because she is terrified of the alternative, admitting that your absence matters, admitting that she isn't as secure as she pretends to be. This phase is a waiting game. She is betting against your discipline. She thinks you're just busy or pouting and that you'll be back in her orbit in a week. Do not fold here. This is where most men screw up. They see the unbothered act, they get insecure, and they double text to re-establish connection. The moment you do that, you hand her all the power back. You have to hold the line. Let her perform for an empty theater. When the unbothered act doesn't bait you back in, the dynamic shifts dramatically. This is where things get dark and interesting. Up until this point, you were the watcher. You were the one analyzing her moves. Now the roles reverse completely. Her curiosity begins to mutate into a low-grade obsession. Why does this happen? It's basic human psychology amplified by modern dating dynamics. We only value what is scarce, what is difficult to obtain, and what we cannot fully understand. When you were pouring attention on her, you were abundant, you were easy, you were an open book. There was no mystery, and therefore very little genuine desire. You were comfortable, like an old couch she could sit on whenever she felt like it. When you lose interest, you suddenly become a closed book. You become a question mark. And the female mind hates unanswered questions regarding relationships. She moves from passively receiving your attention to actively hunting for information about you. This is the detective phase. She starts auditing your digital life. She's not just looking at your stories, she's looking at when you post them. He used to text me at 8 a.m. Now he's posting a gym selfie at 7 a.m. and hasn't said a word to me. What changed? She's checking who you're following. She's analyzing your captions for hidden messages. She's looking at your tagged photos to see if you're around new people, specifically new women. If you have mutual friends, she might casually bring your name up. Oh, I haven't heard from your name in a while. Is he okay? She doesn't care if you're okay, bro. She's fishing for intel. She wants to know if you're sad about her or if you've genuinely moved on. This is the point where you start living in her head, rent-free. You are occupying massive amounts of her mental bandwidth without doing a single thing. Think about the irony here. When you were trying your hardest to impress her, you barely crossed her mind. Now that you are focused on your own purpose, your own grind, and your own life, she can't stop thinking about you. She's obsessing because your withdrawal has shattered her predictive model of you. She thought she had you figured out. She thought she knew exactly how much you liked her. Now she realizes she didn't know you at all. And that terrifies her, which in turn spikes her attraction. She's looking for a crack in your armor. She wants to find evidence that you're just pretending to be over her. Because if you're pretending, she's still safe. But if you're real, if you really don't care, that's a problem she doesn't know how to solve. Now we enter the danger zone. This is where the rubber meets the road. Her curiosity hasn't yielded any answers. You're still distant, you're still focused, the obsession is growing, and it begins to curdle into genuine panic. Panic in this context doesn't mean she's crying in a corner. Panic for a woman used to male attention means a loss of control. And when she feels control slipping away, she has to do something to regain the upper hand. She has to test you. These aren't high school tests. These are psychological compliance tests designed to check your emotional temperature. She needs to know, does this guy still belong to me? She needs to provoke a reaction out of you. Any reaction, anger, sadness, desperation, lust, it doesn't matter. If you react emotionally to her stimulus, it confirms to her that she still holds the leash. How do these tests look in the real world? The most common one is the breadcrumb text. After 3 weeks of silence, you'll get a text at 10 p.m. on a Thursday. Hey, stranger, or saw this meme and thought of you. Don't get it twisted. She isn't thinking of you fondly. She's throwing a pebble into a pond to see if the ripples come back. If you jump on that text immediately with, OMG, hey, how have you been? I missed you, you fail the test instantly. You just proved your withdrawal was a bluff. Another test is the jealousy bait. She might post something specifically designed to trigger your insecurity. Maybe a story with a guy's arm in the frame, or checking into a place you used to go together. She is watching your view count. She's waiting for you to slide into the DMs and ask, who are you with? If you do that, you lose. Sometimes the test is overt disrespect or flakiness. You might finally make tentative plans, and then she cancels last minute with a lame excuse. She is testing your boundaries. Are you going to tolerate disrespect just to see her? The old you would have said, it's okay whenever you're ready. The new you needs to say, got it, moving on. She is desperately trying to drag you back into her emotional frame. She wants you unbalanced. She wants you chasing again because that's where she feels comfortable. The only way to pass these tests is with non-reactive poise. It's stoicism. It's reading the text and going back to work. It's seeing the jealousy bait and feeling nothing because you know her game. When you don't react, her panic doubles. Because now she's realizing the tools that worked on every other simp in her phone aren't working on you anymore. You've upgraded your software and her hacks are obsolete. Her tests failed. You didn't take the bait. You stayed in your lane, focused on your purpose. Her panic has now settled into a grim realization. He might actually be gone. Her pride is severely wounded, but her need for validation and her newly awakened desire, born from your scarcity, are stronger. She knows she can't just demand you come back. That would be too embarrassing for her ego. So she has to initiate what I call the subtle pullback. This is where she starts doing the chasing, but in a very indirect, plausible deniability kind of way. She starts trying to reestablish emotional intimacy without admitting she's doing it. Suddenly, her tone via text softens. The one-word answers turn into paragraphs. She starts asking you questions about your life, things she never cared about before. How did that project at work go? Are you still hitting the gym hard? She's trying to find a side door back into your life because the front door is closed. You might notice her lingering in your vicinity if you work together or share a social circle. She puts herself in your orbit, hoping your gravity will pull her in, so she doesn't have to make the first move. She might drop nostalgia bombs. Remember that time we drove to the coast? That was such a fun day. She's trying to leverage past good feelings to override your current indifference. She might even start throwing out compliments, something she rarely did when you were chasing her. Suddenly, she notices your style, your gains, your focus. Understand what this is. This is her negotiating for your attention. She realizes the free ride is over. She realizes she has to actually offer some value to get you to engage. It's a massive shift in the power dynamic. For the first time, she's performing for your approval. She is analyzing your reactions to see if she's making progress. This is a critical juncture for you as a man. It feels good to have her chasing a little bit. Your ego will want to spike the football and let her back in immediately. Don't. You must maintain your frame. Be polite but distant. Be busy. Let her see that while you appreciate the effort, your life is moving forward full steam ahead, with or without her. You are not punishing her. You are simply prioritizing yourself. The moment she feels you are easily won back, all this progress evaporates. If you hold the line through the tests and the subtle pullback, you arrive at the final stage. This doesn't always happen. Some women have egos too big to ever reach this point and will just ghost out of pride. But more often than not, if there was any genuine connection, the dam will break. This is the ego collapse. The mask falls off completely. The unbothered cool girl is gone. The manipulative tester is gone. What's left is a woman who is genuinely terrified of losing a high-value man who had the strength to walk away. This is when you get the 2 a.m. text that actually means something. This is when she shows up at your door. This is when the tears come out. She might finally admit what she was feeling. I was scared of how much I liked you, so I pushed you away. I took you for granted and I'm sorry. I don't want you to be with anyone else. You will see a level of vulnerability that seems completely out of character for her. But it's not out of character, it's just what happens when a woman is stripped of her power plays and forced to confront reality, the reality that you outgrew her. She's confronting the fact that while she was playing games, you were leveling up. She's confronting the terrifying thought that you looked at what she was offering, decided it wasn't enough, and chose your own company instead. That is a devastating blow to a woman used to being chased. She realizes she miscalculated your worth. She thought your attention was cheap because you gave it away freely. Now that it's expensive, she realizes it was valuable. In this moment, she isn't trying to control you anymore. She's pleading to be let back into your world. The dynamic has completely flipped. You are the prize. You are the selector. We need to land this plane and talk about what this all means for you, not just with women, but in life. Why did we go through all these stages? Not to teach you how to manipulate women. If you use this as a tactic to get laid, it will eventually backfire because you're still doing it for her reaction. The point of understanding this breakdown is to realize the immense power of your own self-respect and discipline. Gentlemen, listen to me closely. Your attention, your time, and your emotional energy are your most valuable currency. Stop spending it on people who offer zero return on investment. When you chase someone who doesn't want you, you are telling the world and yourself, I am not enough on my own. I need this person's validation to feel whole. That is a weak frequency, and women repel weak frequencies. When you genuinely lose interest, not fake it, but actually detach, you are vibrating on a frequency of self-assuredness. You are saying, my mission, my body, my finances, and my peace of mind are more important than chasing someone who doesn't see my value. That is magnetic, that is masculine power. The reason she reacts so intensely through all these phases is that a man who can control his own thirst is a rare breed today. Most guys are thirsty simps waiting for a crumb. When you step out of that line, you become undeniable. So the takeaway isn't ignore her to get her. The takeaway is, get so focused on building your own kingdom that you don't have time to worry about who isn't sitting at your table. When you do that, the right people, the ones who actually respect you, will fight for a seat, and the ones who are just using you for an ego boost will collapse and fade away. Stay stoic, stay focused, protect your energy at all costs, and never ever apologize for choosing your own growth over someone else's comfort.